I manipulated my way into the perfect relationship, studying his every move, becoming exactly what he wanted, and securing the ring. But now, stuck in a life I hate, I realized the truth. I wasn't trapping him. I was trapping myself. You know those people who say everything happens for a reason? Yeah, that's total garbage. I used to be one of those boss babe tape types who thought she had it all figured out. Now I'm sitting here at 29, staring at my ring finger, wondering how I managed to outsmart myself into this mess. But let me start from the beginning, because, trust me, you're going to want to hear this train wreck of a story. I'm Lucy, and a year ago, I had what I thought was the perfect plan. Working at this fancy real estate office downtown, I had my eyes set on more than just commission checks. The minute Wesley walked in as our new property lawyer, I knew he was exactly what I was looking for. Great salary, nice car, and that kind of clean-cut look that just screams stable husband material. Look, I'm not trying to pretend I'm some saint here. The dating scene is brutal, okay? And after watching all my college friends posting their perfect wedding photos and baby announcements, I was done playing the long game. Wesley was like this perfect blank canvas, no crazy ex-drama, good family background, and just naive enough to be moldable. Sorry, not sorry, but sometimes you have to stack the deck in your favor. From day one, I had my strategy mapped out. I started showing up early to work when I knew he'd be in the break room. I'd casually mention loving golf and hiking, because his Instagram was full of that stuff. I even started ordering those nasty green smoothies, the drinks, just so we'd have something to talk about. Basic, maybe, effective, absolutely. The best part, I made it look so natural. I'd strategically place myself in the conference room he had to walk through, always with some real estate paperwork spread out, like I was this dedicated professional. I figured out his Starbucks order, and would accidentally grab an extra one on my coffee runs. Oh, they made two by mistake. Yeah, right. I spent like $200 on coffee that month, but seeing his face light up made it worth every penny. I got my work bestie Amber to help me set up these coincidental run-ins. She thought it was hilarious, especially when I started mirroring his schedule at the office gym I never used before. Let me tell you, pretending to enjoy 6 a.m. workouts was not my idea of fun, but you do what you have to do, right? The real genius move? I studied his social media like it was my job, found out his mom posts everything about him on Facebook, his favorite restaurants, what he did on the weekends, everything. It was like having a cheat sheet for the perfect girlfriend. When he mentioned loving this obscure band, the Guess Who, I coincidentally had tickets to their show. This girl. The look on his face when I suggested that restaurant his mom posted about for our third date. Priceless. I know what you're thinking, this sounds psycho. But seriously, name one person who doesn't put their best foot forward when dating. I just took it to the next level. Besides, guys do this stuff all the time, they're just not as good at it. I was investing in my future, and Wesley was the perfect stock pick. By month 2, he was totally hooked. Every morning, he'd come by my desk with this puppy dog look, completely oblivious to the fact that I'd timed my important calls to end right when he usually stopped by. I had him convinced we were this perfect match, like fate brought us together. If he only knew how many hours I spent creating that fate. Moving in together happened faster than even I expected. 3 months in, Wesley was already hinting about how his lease was coming up for renewal. I played it perfectly. Acted all surprised when he suggested sharing a place, like it hadn't been my end goal all along. I even pretended to be concerned about it being too soon. Meanwhile, I'd already bookmarked every decent apartment complex in his price range. The real challenge started when we actually moved in together. Do you have any idea how exhausting it is maintaining a completely fake personality 24/7? I had to wake up early to put on makeup before he saw my face, keep pretending I cared about his boring golf stories, and act excited about meal prepping every Sunday. I even kept up that whole green smoothie charade. Fun fact, I was secretly dumping them in the bathroom sink every morning. I started slipping up in small ways. He caught me watching reality TV shows I'd claimed to hate, found out I'd been ordering takeout behind his back instead of eating his meal prep containers, little things, you know. But I'd gotten so good at managing his reactions that it didn't even matter. Oh sweetie, I just wanted to surprise you. Or I'm trying to broaden my horizons, and he'd melt like ice cream. Getting him to talk about marriage was like this delicate dance. I'd casually mention how my friend's wedding was absolutely perfect, then act all nonchalant when he'd ask what I thought about marriage. I had Amber constantly dropping hints at work about how Wesley and I were such a perfect match, and how she never saw it coming. I even made sure to befriend his sister on Instagram, liking all her posts about her own perfect marriage. The whole time, I was secretly rolling my eyes at his habits, leaving dishes to soak, talking about crypto like he was some financial genius, calling his mom every single Sunday for exactly 47 minutes. But externally, I was the perfect supportive girlfriend. I even started a shared Pinterest board for future home ideas, and acted surprised when he found it every time. Every time I had to pretend to be interested in another one of his long stories about work, or fake enthusiasm about watching golf on TV, I reminded myself of the endgame. The big house, the social status, the perfect Christmas card family. It was all within reach. Sure, I was dying inside every time I had to go on one of his family hiking trips or listen to his friends' boring tech startup ideas, but that's what marriage is, right? Sacrifices. Looking back, I probably should have noticed how hollow it all felt, how I'd zone out during our conversations, how I'd get this weird knot in my stomach every time he talked about our future, but I was too focused on the finish line to worry about those little warning signs. Besides, I'd invested too much time and energy to back out. And now the Lucy he knew was perfect, and perfect girls don't get cold feet. After 8 months of playing house, I decided it was time to kick things into high gear. The proposal wasn't happening fast enough on its own, so I had to get creative. I orchestrated this whole elaborate plan that honestly deserves some kind of award for strategic thinking. First, I casually mentioned how my younger cousin just got engaged. Then, I made sure Wesley overheard Amber talking about how her boyfriend took too long to propose, and she almost left him. Subtle, right? But my real masterpiece, I created this fake work crisis that had me considering a job offer in another state. You should have seen Wesley's face when I told him about it over dinner. I played it so well, talking about how torn I was, how I didn't want to leave us behind, but how career opportunities like this don't come along every day. I even printed out fake offer letters to leave around the apartment. The best part: the company I claimed was recruiting me had amazing benefits for employees' spouses. I made sure to highlight that part. I ramped up the pressure by starting to pack a few boxes, telling him I needed to prepare just in case. Every time he'd come home and see another box, I could practically see the wheels turning in his head. I kept saying things like, "I wish we had a more permanent reason for me to stay," and, "It's too bad we're not at that next level yet." I know, not my most subtle work, but desperate times, right? The ring shopping trip was practically scripted. I'd gotten his sister on my side months ago, showing her exactly what kind of rings I liked, knowing she'd pass that info to him. I even made sure she knew which jeweler to recommend, the one where I'd already gone in to try on and size my friend's engagement ring. Talk about covering all the bases. When he finally proposed, it was exactly how I'd planned it would be, right down to the restaurant I'd been not so subtly hinting at for weeks. I actually had to pretend to be surprised when he got down on one knee, even though I'd basically picked out the moment myself. The whole time he was giving this heartfelt speech, all I could think was, finally, mission accomplished. The engagement announcement was my crowning achievement. I had the perfect caption ready to go, the ideal filter picked out, even the exact moment to post for maximum likes. That photo of us with my perfectly positioned ring catching the light, just right, racked up more engagement than anything I'd ever posted. Each congratulatory comment felt like a personal victory. But here's the weird thing: that night, after all the calls and texts and social media buzz died down, I had this strange empty feeling in my chest. There I was, lying in bed next to my fiancé, staring at this gorgeous ring that was exactly what I wanted, and all I could think was, what now? I'd spent so much time and energy getting to this point, that I hadn't really thought about what came after. But I pushed that feeling down. After all, this was what winning looked like, right? And I was nothing if not a winner. The cracks started showing up right after the wedding. It's like the minute that ring went on my finger, keeping up the act became 10 times harder. You can only pretend to love someone's annoying habits for so long before you snap. The first time I lost it was over something stupid. He was doing that thing where he explains crypto to me like I'm 5 years old. Before, I would have just nodded and smiled, maybe asked some fake interested questions. Instead, I rolled my eyes and told him to stop mansplaining. The look on his face, priceless and terrifying. That's when things started getting messy. Wesley kept saying I was different, like he was some relationship detective who'd uncovered this big mystery. He'd bring up how I used to love going to his golf tournaments, conveniently forgetting that I'd rather watch paint dry, or he'd mention how I never make those green smoothies anymore, acting all hurt about it. Like, sorry, I don't want to drink lawn clippings at 6 a.m. anymore. The real drama started when he found my old takeout receipts stuffed in my car's glove compartment. All those times I'd claimed to be eating his meal prep at work? Yeah, that lie fell apart real quick. He acted like finding some Chick-fil-A bags was equivalent to catching me in an affair. But you said you were gluten-free. Yeah, well, people change, Wesley. It got worse when his sister started noticing things too. She'd make these little comments about how I seemed so different from when we first met. Of course, she was on his side, family loyalty and all that, but the way she looked at me sometimes, like she was trying to piece together a puzzle. That was the worst. I caught her showing Wesley old videos from when we were dating, probably trying to prove how much I'd changed. Like, duh, everyone acts different when they're dating. That's just common sense. Our fights got more frequent, and honestly, it felt good to finally stop pretending. He'd bring up how I never wanted to go hiking anymore, and I'd snap back about how I never liked it in the first place. The look on his face when I told him I'd rather die than spend another Sunday watching golf? Almost worth all the drama that followed. The breaking point was this stupid dinner party with his work friends. Before, I would have played the perfect hostess, laughed at their lame jokes, and asked all the right questions about their boring jobs. Instead, I spent the whole night on my phone ordering pizza because I forgot to make the dinner I'd promised. When one of his friends tried to engage me in conversation about some tech startup, I straight up told him I didn't care. Wesley was mortified, but honestly it felt amazing to finally be real. That night, after everyone left, Wesley hit me with the "what happened to you" speech, like I'm some body snatcher who replaced his perfect wife. He kept going on about how I used to be so different, so caring, so interested in his life. I wanted to scream, none of it was. 4. But even I knew that would be too much. Instead, I told him he was the one who changed. That marriage had made him controlling and demanding. Classic deflection, maybe, but what else was I supposed to say? I should have known Wesley was gathering evidence. He's a lawyer, after all, that's literally what they do. One night, he ambushed me with this whole PowerPoint presentation of receipts. Not just actual receipts like those takeout ones, but screenshots, social media posts, text messages, everything. He had old Instagram stories from before we met where I called golf, watching grass grow for rich people, screenshots of texts to Amber about how I was molding him into the perfect husband, even emails to my cousin about faking that job offer to push him into proposing. The worst part? He'd gotten Amber to flip on me, my own best friend at work, the one who helped me stage all those accidental meetings, spilled everything. Apparently, she'd been feeling guilty about her part in it all. She showed him texts from when we were dating, all my strategies, the fake interests, the planned coincidences. She even told him about the ring shopping setup. Talk about a backstab. He laid it all out like some kind of criminal investigation. Exhibit A was my old dating profile where I listed my interests as true crime podcasts and reality TV, pretty different from the hiking enthusiast persona I'd created for him. Then came the gym membership records showing I'd only started going when he did, and stopped the minute we got married. He even had screenshots of my Pinterest boards from before we met, not a single golf course or green smoothie recipe in sight. The real kicker. He'd been talking to his sister, comparing notes about all the little inconsistencies, every time I'd slipped up, every contradiction, every moment the mask had fallen. They'd been keeping track. They even had a timeline of when my personality changes started, like they were tracking the evolution of a different species or something. I tried every move in my playbook, denied it at first, called the evidence circumstantial. Yeah, I've watched enough Law and Order to know some legal terms. When that didn't work, I tried turning it around on him, asked why he was stalking my old social media, accused him of being paranoid. I even tried the tears, saying I couldn't believe he didn't trust me. But he just kept scrolling through more screenshots, more evidence, more proof that the Lucy he fell in love with was basically a character I'd created. Then, he pulled out the big guns, a recording from our dinner party. Not only did it catch me being completely different from my dating personality, but you could literally hear me in the background, telling someone how I'd trapped the perfect guy. The way I laughed about it, bragging about my master plan. Even I had to admit it didn't sound great. He sat there staring at me with this mixture of hurt and disgust, waiting for an explanation. What was I supposed to say? That modern-day dating is basically marketing, and I just happen to be really good at it. That everyone pretends to be someone else at first? That he should be flattered I put in so much effort? I tried all of those, actually. Somehow, none of them made him feel better. So here I am now, stuck in the perfect trap of my own making. Wesley moved out last week, but thanks to our ironclad prenup, I'm still tied to this overpriced house I can't afford, and the real estate market's down, because of course it is. I can't even sell without taking a massive loss. And my commission checks aren't what they used to be now that the office knows what happened. Turns out, word spreads fast in real estate circles. Wesley's still the company's go-to property lawyer, which means I'm the one who had to find a new job. Do you know how hard it is to build a client base from scratch, when your last office thinks you're the psycho who manipulated their favorite lawyer? I've got recruiters literally ghosting me after they check my references. The worst part isn't even the money or the career stuff, it's that I actually got exactly what I wanted, and now I'm miserable. I spent so much time creating this perfect life that I never stopped to think if I actually wanted it. Now I'm sitting in this huge empty house surrounded by all these things I picked out to impress other people, and I've never felt more trapped. My Instagram is full of memories I can't even look at anymore because I know they're all fake. Every photo has a story behind it that's completely different from what actually happened. That spontaneous beach trip planned for weeks to recreate his parents' engagement story. That cozy night in post took an hour to stage, and I ordered takeout the minute I posted it. Everyone's taken sides. Obviously, Amber won't even look at me at industry events. Wesley's sister made this whole TikTok series about spotting fake personalities that went viral. She never mentions me by name, but everyone knows. Even my own mother asked me what I was thinking, like she didn't raise me to believe that landing a good husband was the ultimate goal. The irony isn't lost on me. I spent all this time and energy trying to trap the perfect guy, and now I'm the one who's trapped in a lifestyle I can't maintain, a reputation I can't shake, and a web of lies I can't untangle. Wesley's already dating again, something about finding someone authentic. Meanwhile, I can't even remember who the real Lucy is anymore. Do I regret it? Not exactly. I regret getting caught, obviously. I regret not having a better backup plan. I regret letting Amber in on too many details, but the actual manipulation? That's just dating in 2025, if we're being honest. Everyone's out here pretending to be someone they're not. I just took it to the next level, and got burned. Sometimes I catch myself looking at Wesley's new girlfriend's Instagram. She's into all that outdoor stuff for real. Her profile goes back years with the hiking photos and camping trips. She probably actually likes those green smoothies. Part of me wants to warn her that she's making the rest of us look bad with all that authenticity, but mostly I just feel tired, tired of the act, tired of the games, tired of trying to be someone I'm not. So yeah, that's how I ended up here, 29, divorced, and living in a house I hate but can't leave. My perfect plan backfired in the most perfect way possible. And the crazy thing? There's probably some other Lucy out there right now planning her own perfect trap, thinking she's got it all figured out. I'd tell her it's not worth it, but let's be real, she wouldn't listen. I know I wouldn't have.